T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and...
Welcome, everybody. We are your hosts, Rockinmrmagic.
UniqDNA.
This is the original Jeek podcast.
Gang. I don't see no competition in my face. If we do, then we just move them out the way. I don't even need no money in my face. Hold on. Give me the money when I finish with the gang.
We are your hosts, Rockinmrmagic.
UniqDNA.
So we've got the NFL season 2018-2019 season right now ahead of us. And it looks like it's going to be politics aside, because we're not talking about that right now. Maybe we like to go down the rabbit hole. Politics aside, the season looks like it's going to be very interesting across the board. You've got a lot of movement of players. You've got some interesting and ridiculously questionable moves. Looking at you, John Gruden. That's going to truly make the landscape of the NFL completely tough to predict. Yeah. So let's go starting with our division, kind of get the pain away while we're here on topic. Let's look at the NFC North. How do you think the NFC North is going to shape up?
I don't know. I mean, as usual, I don't see us being
viable.
Yeah, contenders.
That's more fair.
It's probably. I don't see the Bears doing anything.
See. That's a tough one.
No, you think so?
That's a tough one, and I'll tell you why. The Bears had a top 10 defense last year,
right?
And they just added Khalil Mack.
True.
That defense is going to be tough to score on. Now their offense is suspect. Their offense is suspect, but the NFL has showed, and many teams have showed you that defense can take you far and win you championships. If they can figure out their offense a little bit, they could be the best team in the NFC North. Everyone's talking about Aaron Rodgers is healthy, but you have to get them with the Pack. The Pack has no defense. The Vikings look better on paper, but we have no idea truly what Kirk Cousins is really going to be able to do in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Look better on paper, but practical application is a whole different thing. Our Lions are still Lions, unfortunately. They haven't gotten any better offensively or defensively. They're just stagnant, so they're going to probably remain where they were, either third or fourth place in the division.
Right.
But the Bears could potentially make some noise. So it's going to be interesting to see how that actually shapes out.
Yeah, I don't know. NFC North never really. It's besides the Packers, and I hate to admit it, but it's like, who else really? Vikings, they're iffy on a good day, and they look good on paper, but they're also the Vikings. So I don't know. NFC North it's the NFC North. It's like,
it's
unless you're the Packers,
it's because it's a real toss up.
Yeah,
there is no clear cut.
Yeah, it's like Packers or the Bears usually is, and the Bears lately haven't been really making any noise besides, like you said, like the defense. But even with all that, where'd they go last year? I forgot what their record was, but it was
worse than ours.
It was abysmal. Yeah. So I think it's safe to say nobody from the NFC North, as far as I can tell, is going to make it past round one of the playoffs, if they make it that far.
But there are no Super Bowl contenders.
No, definitely not.
Sorry, Vikings fans. I know you're ecstatic. You had a chance to get to the Super Bowl. You really got lucky against New Orleans. Let's just keep it real. You got lucky. And you got blitzed by a Philly team that really wasn't that much better than you. So, I'm sorry. I know you're happy you got a better quarterback. You really, in my opinion, aren't that much better, and you got lucky last year.
Right.
I don't see any Super Bowl contenders in this division.
Me either.
to me, the Super Bowl contenders are obviously the defending champion Eagles. Still foreign to say, like, like the Red Sox playing. Like, it just doesn't make sense. But nevertheless, it happened.
It gives us hope.
I don't know. Hopefully.
That's all I can say.
Hopefully it gives us hope. So you've got the defending champion Eagles. I have no faith in that team in Washington. I have no faith in the Giants. I have no faith in Dallas either. So to me, the only legitimate Super Bowl contender is the defending champions. In the South, you've got the Falcons, who still have a lot of firepower. I don't believe in them just because, you know, they still have the same problems that they've had. And also Julio not being satisfied is also a major problem.
Yeah.
The Saints, to me, are a legitimate threat despite Breeze's continued age. He hasn't slowed down. They look good. They are still solid defensively, and they are still just as dangerous offensively. Tampa Bay, who knows what's going on with them? Famous Jameis is more famous for being crazy than his football now. They're something else. I have no words for Tampa Bay. They need some structure there. Is all I know.
Yeah.
Serious structure in that franchise to kind of right the ship. Carolina, I don't know about Carolina. I mean, that defense is still good. Ron Rivera is a great coach. We know how talented Cam is. I just don't know. They're always they've been a question mark offensively pretty much the entire time the franchise has been around.
Yeah.
Whether it's Chris Winkie as their quarterback, whether it was Jake Delhomme and his underpowered arm at quarterback, with Steven Davis in the backfield and throwing down except for Steve Smith, who was the legit offensive threat on that team. You know, there's always been a question mark offensively. And with Cam, you know, he's hot and cold. You know, we don't know what he's going to do. He's got all the talent in the world, but who knows what.
Yeah, I thought he broke out of that cycle. You know, that the year before last, when, you know, it was like, oh yeah, it was like, yeah, like, wow, okay, he's not sulking as much anymore. You know, he's actually being a leader, and it's just like last year it was like, oh, same old Cam. You know, throwing the temper tantrums and, you know, acting like a 2-year-old. And I was just like, what happened? Like, you know, because, I mean, that year they were balling, you know, and I don't think there was a doubt in anybody's mind that they were going to make it to the finals, to the Super Bowl.
Right. No one saw that. I mean,
yeah,
they went 15-1. Like, no one saw that.
Yeah.
They got an incredible hot streak, and then they got smashed.
Yeah.
They call fire.
Yeah.
And they haven't come close to that since.
Yeah.
They've been back to just, you know, up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
And offensively, I don't know. I honestly don't know what could fix them. I don't. Like, Cam is talented and all, but I don't know if he needs a coordinator. I don't know if he needs to try to add by subtraction, you know, kind of the less is more prospect. Like, Cam, yeah, you're great with your legs, but maybe you need to do less with the legs, or Cam, maybe you just need to do more with your legs and less with the arm. Something's got to change there, because if it doesn't, they're going to get the same results they've been getting, which is inconsistent offense. And
do you feel like it's coaching or it's just attitudes?
I don't think his attitude really. I've never thought Cam hasn't had the greatest attitude, but I never thought he had an uncoachable attitude. His attitude was more towards, you know, media and other people as much compared to his teammates or his coaching staff. I mean, in college he had more of a attitude problem in that aspect, but he clearly outgrew that. Like, he had Florida, he had that problem. But when he went to Chicago, when he was at Auburn, that wasn't a problem. And I really haven't seen that be a problem in the NFL, as far as he seems to be coachable. So I don't think coaching in that aspect is the problem, that he's not coachable. He may not have the right staff developing him, because I also don't see a ton of improvement in his game, in his play, and that like he hasn't seemed to become a better passer.
Yeah.
And he's consistent. I shouldn't say better, because he's gotten better in some ways, but he doesn't seem to have nailed a pattern of consistency.
Yeah.
They probably would take consistent 300-yard games compared to a 100-yard passing game here and a 400-yard passing game here. Like, hey, how about we get 10 300 passing yard games and some more consistency here.
Right.
I think that's more of a concern, and trying to get that out of him. To me, that falls more on the QB coach and the coordinator, coordinator, and obviously to the head coach, as far as how can we get consistent efforts offensively, not just out of Cam, but also obviously the receiving core, the running game. Like what do we have to do to be able to get more consistency offensively? Because it really is not just him. Like, they had the only consistency they really had was Steve Smith. Even when they had Stewart and Williams at the running backs, like, it still wasn't consistent out of them, and they were a two-headed monster. It still wasn't consistent.
Yeah.
Like, Smith was the only consistent offensive piece they had. Talented. They had talent. It's just, can you get that talent to continue to produce on a high level? It just hasn't happened. I don't know who their coordinator is. Since we really didn't do a whole lot of preparation for this episode. I know Ron Rivera is a defensive coach, and Ron Rivera is a good head coach, and that he trusts his offensive staff. I just have no idea who that staff is, and I think that whoever that staff is, if they've been around for a while, they may need to mix things up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I mean, clearly he has, he has the talent. Like you said, that year they went 15-1, and they've shown that they can ball.
Oh yeah,
they can play, and he's shown that he can be a leader. He can be a good quarterback. Attitudes aside, emotions aside, but yeah, he's just he's definitely inconsistent, up and down. But yeah, I would like to see them go back to that, that type of play again. I don't know what changed that year, because it was just like all of a sudden they just came out and they were like on fire, and it was almost like it just seemed like they stopped looking at it as a job and they were just having fun.
Do you know what that season reminded me of? It reminded me of a mid-level, like a mid-major college basketball team getting into the tournament, getting hot, and going far. And the next year, it's like, what happened to, Valparaiso? Or remember George Mason? Remember that run? Like, that's what it felt like. They got hot.
Yeah.
They went far. They faltered, unfortunately, and now they're back to what they are.
What happened to them? Yeah, it's like I was thinking about it yesterday, actually, because we were doing fantasy draft and all that, and I was like, man, like, because I actually had Cam. He was my quarterback that year on my fantasy team, and because nobody wanted to pick him up because of the years before, right? So I was like, nah, I think they're gonna do something this year, and I picked them up, and it was like I had him, and I forgot who my receiver. It was one of the Carolina receivers, so I was double dipping, and it was just like, So then this year, I'm looking, and I'm like, who am I gonna pick for quarterback? And I was just like his name popped up, and I was like, oh yeah, whatever happened, and like, yeah, because he wasn't like last year. He didn't do anything, like it was just like I remember, like, it's just like that, that exactly, just like, whatever happened to those guys? They were really good.
That was really good. That was
really good. Did they ever make it to the NFL? Like,
that whole season, like, wow. Yeah, that's what it felt like to me. I'm like, and it's a shame because I think they should be a more viable contender with the talent that they have.
Yeah, I mean, with the talent that they have, and I mean, it hasn't changed much since that year.
No, it really hasn't. It hasn't changed that much at all.
They should be the talk it's the same way the Packers are always in the conversation, the same way the Giants are always in the conversation, the same way that Cowboys are always in the conversation.
Well, they're in the conveation for dumb reasons.
Well, they put themselves in their conversation.
Yeah, they put themselves.
I mean,
95 was yesterday.
Right. But
yeah,
I mean, like, I don't see any reason why they couldn't be a top 10 team every year. As
constructed, yeah.
There's
not many reasons why they shouldn't be a contender.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what goes on in the locker room and practices or whatever, but I think, like you said, I think there's something structurally wrong. And I don't know if, like I said, I don't, if I'm the GM or even the head coach, I'm looking to figure out, like, what do we do that year that made that year different from all the other years?
Yeah, exactly. You have to figure out what was different. What
we need to get back to that.
Right. There to let us have this great season.
Was it like we were just doing yoga every morning or something? I don't know, but like I would be in there like, yo, we gotta figure it out.
Yeah, that is key. All right, so then we've got the NFC West. We got the seeing LA Rams is just stupid to me.
It's so weird, right?
Like, it's been so long, and it's like, why go back? But we got these LA Rams, the Cardinals, San Fran, and Seattle.
I think the Rams look good this year. Defense is rated, pretty well. I could see them doing something. I don't know how. I mean, I'm not saying they're Super Bowl contenders or anything like that, but I can see them making some noise. They're gonna make some noise. They're gonna be on everybody's radar, especially with the move and everything else. What are they gonna do? Where they're gonna end up? I don't know. Yeah, maybe middle of the road. I can see them being a Lions, like a. Middle of the road, 10-6. Just
I'm seeing 10-6. Like
barely
I don't know if they've completely gotten over the hump that is Seattle. Like Seattle clearly isn't the same team.
Right.
Obviously, Cam walking away. Earl's clearly going to be gone unless they make some miraculous move and make him like $100 million safety or something like that. He's clearly going to go. Yeah. So they're not the same team.
No.
They're just not, especially defensively. Russ is still Russ.
Right.
He's going to make things happen. He's going to win games for them.
Yeah.
But to me, they're an 8-8 team.
Yeah.
Arizona to me is, a 6-10 team.
Yeah.
San Fran they're a mess.
3 whatever.
Like I don't understand. Like all these people, Jimmy G's clearly got some talent. But people are hyping the San Fran team up a bit too high, in my opinion.
But the San Fran's and the Cowboys, I always feel like San Fran's like they're always in that same conversation. Like, yeah, we were, golden area, Jerry Rice, and
and all these teams that have, you're always going to hear it from the Pittsburgh fans.
Right.
You're always going to hear it from the Cowboy fans. You're always going to hear it from the Niners fans, and you're going to hear it from the Patriot fans.
And the Giants.
Why? Because the Giants. That's because of the area we live in. Because that's not a national thing, but nationally, you're going to hear from those 4 franchises.
Oh yeah.
Because they have 5 rings.
Dynasties. Yeah,
they have dynasties. The Giants got lucky a couple times. But talk about you're in that 5-ring club.
Yeah,
they're going to we're this.
Right.
Okay. Really, it's more like New England can talk because they've been consistently doing it.
Yeah.
A lot of y'all haven't won one in a while.
Right.
The San Fran and Dallas.
The last time y'all made it to the playoffs.
Y'all haven't won one since the 90s. Let's calm it down.
Yeah.
So I don't think any of them are contenders. I think the Rams are the best team out of that bunch, and I don't see them winning in the playoffs.
10-6 are the best.
Yeah, I think I'm 10-6. So then we go to the AFC, and let's.
Did we do East? We didn't do East.
Yeah, we didn't do the. Oh, well, that's right, because I purposely avoid talking about the NFC East. But no, we did. No, we started with the East.
No, we
We
started
with North.
We started
said
with
the
North
because we talked about how Philly's the only contender in that bunch.
Oh yeah, we just kind of glossed over.
We glossed over because there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah. All right, moving on. AFC.
Why waste time talking about Dallas?
Nobody wants to talk about Dallas except for Dallas.
Except for Dallas fans. Yeah. But they keep saying the same thing over and over again, so there's no point in talking. All right, so AFC. Let's start with the AFC West.
So before we do that, I saw this joke on Instagram, and it was like the 4 things no adult should believe in anymore. And it was the Tooth Fairy, Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, and Dallas Cowboys.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah, that's clear.
All right, moving on.
How much you believe in those anymore? Those things don't exist. Fairy tales. All right, so AFC West, we got Denver, KC, the Raiders, and the Chargers. And LA Chargers is just so stupid. So stupid.
LA Rams, LA Chargers.
LA, what? At least the Rams were there before, but come on. All right. The Chucky experiment, and I believe, is going to fail. I said it before. I'm going to say it again. Mm-hmm. Gruden is overrated. Always has been, always will be. Is he a great football mind? Sure. Is he a great football coach? No. He's overrated. I've always contended this. He did not earn that Super Bowl ring. That is Tony Dungy's ring. That is on his finger. That is in the line of the Barry Switzer Super Bowl ring. That team could have coached themselves to that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Most of the staffs that, especially defensively, that Dungy put together, like Monty Kiffin as an example, remained on that team. That team did not need Chucky to win the Super Bowl. He lucked into a title. That's Dungy's ring. He didn't earn that, in my opinion. And a lot of people also echo that sentiment. The guy hasn't coached in a decade. I'm sorry, the guy won a playoff game in a decade.
Right.
The guy hadn't coached in years. And then he trades Khalil Mack for what purpose? I don't know. I don't understand it.
Because he's great.
Because
he knows what he's doing.
He doesn't know what he's doing. Like, this is a guy who was supposed to be a quarterback guru who got lucky with Rich Gannon and have made a good quarterback a bit better, but also that good quarterback that got a bit better was throwing to Tim Brown, Jerry Porter, and Jerry Rice. 3 all-pro wideouts at the same time. Of course, Rich Gannon looked great and had an MVP year. He had 3 Pro Bowl wideouts he was throwing to.
Right. Yeah.
And he had Napoleon Kaufman in his backfield. It's like, come on. Really? The guy goes to Tampa, and after that Super Bowl team that coached themselves to a win, what did he do? Nothing. He's supposed to be the quarterback guru. And all these talented quarterbacks that he coached, that did nothing.
Did Tampa even have a good quarterback at the time?
No, well, when they won,
yeah,
they won under with Brad Johnson.
Exactly.
But again, but that defense won that Super Bowl, just like Baltimore's defense won their Super Bowl. Like, come on, does anybody credit? Well, I forget his name now. I can see his face in my head, but I forget his name now.
Baltimore.
What's his name?
What is his name?
Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot his name. I can see his face in my head, but I forgot his name, which is how insignificant he was in that Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer. Trent Dilfer. Come on, no one credits Trent Dilfer for that Super Bowl. Like, come on. I don't even think he scored. It was part of the first score. I think the first score for Baltimore was the kickoff or the kickoff or punt return that Jermaine Taylor brought back. Like, come on, man.
Was it that or the interception return?
It wasn't an offensive play in my recollection.
It definitely was an offensive play, but I'm trying to remember. I think I remember an interception return around.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the one pick. Not the one pick. I remember the one TD pass he threw to Brandon Stokely. And that's the only offensive play I remember him actually doing. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Some guys win Super Bowls and they're game man. He was a good game manager. He managed the game. That's what Brad Johnson did for Tampa Bay. He managed the game because unfortunately Sean King's small hands couldn't hold on to the ball at the right times for them the previous year. So he managed the game for Tampa. But Gruden had guys with promise and talent. Chris Sims, I'm trying to remember some of the other guys he had came through there. It doesn't matter. The point is that Gruden couldn't get them to perform. But he's supposed to be this amazing quarterback guru.
Yeah.
You know, he's supposed to know that position. You know, we see him saw him on ESPN doing all these film sessions with all these QBs and this and that. Yeah, I've never seen him make a quarterback better. I haven't seen it.
Me either.
You know? So I don't understand why he's worth $100 million. And I don't understand why you would give, if you're going to give him the keys to your franchise, again, why you would give him that much money when he hasn't produced. You know, it's not like he went to that team, built them up, and turned them into something. He went into a team that got screwed essentially out of a Super Bowl appearance against Tennessee with that, not necessarily against the Rams with that catch rule that they made official the next year, because we all knew it was a catch, but they ruled it not a catch. Again, the NFL doesn't know what catches are. It's been a while. So, it's like, come on, this team was on the cusp of a Super Bowl. This guy took it and won it and did nothing ever since then. But you're going to give him all this money, and then he's making all these questionable moves. Like, really? You don't have money for Khalil Mack? How do you not have money for Khalil Mack?
He had money for him.
I know he had money for him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what his reasoning was, but there was something else behind it.
And how are you going to stop people? Like, you just took away the half of your pass rush.
Yeah.
Like, literally half.
Well, because
you had to double team that man.
Because he doesn't need defense. He's the quarterback guru.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for those quarterbacks that he's gurued up to do something.
Gannon, greatest quarterback to ever live.
Yeah, I'd like to hear Rich's take on that. Rich, how much did Chucky coach you up, or how much was it you being a professional, being around for a while, and having these 3 great guys to throw to? I mean, that kind of helps. I don't, maybe it's just,
I'd say so. Yeah.
So I have no faith in Oakland, despite the fact that, and that's just because of him. I think Derek Carr is a terrific talent. I think they've got a lot of nice pieces there. I don't understand the moves he's making. That's very questionable. You've got to have defense to win in this league. I don't care who you are. You have to have defense. Part of the reason why the Patriots didn't win that Super Bowl is because of defense.
Right.
Malcolm Butler screwing him, missing that flight, causing him not to play. Malcolm Butler plays 5 plays. That's an entirely different Super Bowl. You need defense to win. So if you're going to give away arguably the best young defensive player in the league away for a bunch of picks, I question your sanity and understanding of what the game is right now.
Yeah.
Like, he could be a genius. I just haven't seen any proof of it. I'm going to stick to my gut and with what I've seen.
Maybe he's playing the long game. I mean, I don't know.
I watched him play the long game, Tampa Bay. Denver, I've got no faith in Denver, and Kansas City is still coached by Andy Reid. And any team that's coached by Andy Reid, I have no faith in to do anything come playoffs time. So
the West is
West is So we've got the South. The South is interesting because Houston's got a lot of talent, and if Watson can stay on the field,
I don't think Houston has the coaching though.
You don't think O'Brien's good enough?
Nah.
He's a Belichick guy. He's not a bad coach.
I mean, I think he's decent, but I think you got to be at the talent that they have. You got to be at another level in order to properly use it.
Well, he also can't keep a team on the field.
That's
I mean, has he even had a full season of J.J. Watt, or more than one, I should say?
No.
And he couldn't even get a full season of Deshaun Watson,
Right.
because Watson was balling before he got hurt. So, I mean, who knows what Houston's season looks like if they aren't injured?
Yeah, and I think that's that's part of coaching, right? It's like knowing how to pace your players and keep them from getting hurt. I mean, that all comes part of it. But I just don't see him. I mean, I think he's decent, and I don't know if he ever should have made head coach. I think.
You think he's like a
coordinator,
like a Charlie Weiss, like he's Romeo Crennel always should be a coordinator.
Yeah, just stay in the coordinator, coordinator position. The offense or the defense or special teams, whatever your niches, and just stay there.
See, it's funny to me that you mentioned that, because coaching trees seem to have as they develop, seem to be really interesting to me, because the Parcells coaching tree produced a lot of head coaches.
Yeah.
And a lot of these head coaches have been pretty successful,
I think it's like anything, right? Like, you develop people.
Right. So here's my thing. The Belichick being a Parcells disciple, Belichick's coaching tree has created a lot of really great coordinators. But they, as head coaches, they seem to all drastically fall short. McDaniel, Charlie Weiss, Romeo Crennel, Mangini, O'Brien. All these guys are Belichick guys, and they seem to just not have it. And unfortunately for us as Lions fans, Matt Patricia's a part of that. They all seem to be missing something that Belichick has, whether it's adjustments, whether it's adapting to injured players and being able to fit people in when someone's hurt. Okay, this guy can do this. Like, I don't know what it is that Bill's not able to impart on them that he does that they don't do. Maybe he's keeping it to himself. I don't know, because he knows as they go that they become competition. But there's something in his coaching tree of really great coordinators that somehow is not translating into any of these guys becoming great head coaches, where the tree he came off of produced a lot of really good head coaches.
Yeah. I don't think Belichick is he can. That's the thing. Like, I don't know if he can develop people. You know what I mean? I think he's very tight with his.
Oh yeah, he keeps everything close to the vest.
Yeah. And so you would think, like, oh yeah, this guy's coming out of this camp, most winningest team in history. Of course, you would think this guy's a perfect head coach. He should know everything, how everything runs. But when you have anybody, even in a job, if you have a manager or whoever who, they keep their secrets and they play everything close to the chest, I mean, there's no room for growth there, and so you're just kind of setting these guys up for failure, because just like, yeah, I'll endorse them, sure, or you might not even have to. I mean, everybody knows where you're coming from, so it's,
everybody knows. Yeah,
it's like, what do you bring to the table? Oh, I was Patriots offensive coordinator. Okay, you got the job.
Yeah,
no questions asked.
Well, because you think about it, what coaching tree has a better brand right now than the Patriot Way?
Right.
5 Super Bowls, consistent playoff appearances.
Yeah.
Winning like 12 games every year. Like, how do you say no to those resumes?
Right. And it's easy to just be like, hey, we'll take them all. But I think it comes down to developmentally. I mean, you got to look at like, okay, well, what were you allowed to do while you were there? Because just
Right.
saying, I mean, there's plenty of guys on the bench that they got Patriot rings, never even touched the field,
Mhm.
other than the sideline. So it's like, yeah, it's easy to just flash your rings and say like, hey, look, I did it. But like, okay, what freedoms were you given as the offensive coordinator? Like, did you actually run the offense? Did you actually, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
or were you just kind of standing on the sideline and like, yeah. And he's just like, yeah, I think we should call this play. Yeah, that's a good play. Let's do it.
But it's tough because you say that, and I think about who's going through. You think of the old coordinators. You think of Weiss, McDaniel,
Right.
and O'Brien.
Right.
The thing is, and it's tough because we all know Bill to be a defensive coach.
Right.
But you make that point, like, what were they really able to do in the offense?
Right.
The offense it's changed some, but there's not been a drop-off between those three coordinators,
Right.
being there or not being there.
So it makes you wonder who's really calling the plays.
Wonder who's really calling the shots there, because Tom is still Tom, and these nobody wide receivers all of a sudden can catch the ball when they get there, and these nobody running backs are doing all Deion Lewis's and all these guys are playing like they're Pro Bowlers when they get there, and no one's heard them before. It's like, okay, what's really going on here?
Right.
You got LeGarrette Blount being a bum in Pittsburgh. All of a sudden, he goes to New England and he's got 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, what's really going on here?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I question, just that. Like, even when Patricia came to the Lions, we had the conversation like,
it just
sounds good.
I'm impressed if you bring me Bill.
Right.
If you're not bringing me Bill, I'm not impressed.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen his disciples do anything.
Yeah.
A lot of his disciples work for ESPN now. I don't want to see that.
Right.
He's sitting there like, oh, I don't, Romeo. I think Romeo's in Houston.
Yeah.
Now maybe if all his former coordinators come together on their own staff, maybe they can make something happen. I don't know. But something's off in that coaching tree.
Yeah.
And so I echo your sentiments as far as like I'm not sold on O'Brien based off of his compatriots, but also you can't deny that they're going to be dangerous because of the talent they have.
Yeah.
Between Watson and Hopkins,
right.
Watt defensively, maybe Clowney can actually give effort for an entire season.
Right.
You could really see something coming out of Houston. But then you've got Jacksonville on the side, whose defense is still extremely impressive and, in my opinion, looks better offensively moving forward as well. I do think they should have tried to get a better quarterback because Bortles, clearly, ain't going to cut it. But they are still a dangerous football team.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that you put LeBron James on any team, they're going to be a contender for something, right? You put Steph Curry on now Steph Curry, not the old Steph Curry,
not the original, not weak ankle Steph.
Yeah,
right.
But you put Steph Curry on pretty much any team, and he's going to make some noise. Kobe Bryant, that's just talent. Talent sometimes doesn't need to be coached. So yeah, I think they're going to do something. But I think there are times with coaching, that last 10-20%, coaching makes the difference.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that was, not to keep harping on Carolina, but I think that's what made Carolina that year was that it was all talent. These guys are good. They knew they were good. They were doing their thing.
Yeah, and they got hot. They just clicked.
They got hot, and they were like, yo, listen, if we just ball and we take care of each other, we got this. And it was like there wasn't much coaching, but when it came to Super Bowl time, playoff time, it was like, that's when the coaching comes in. And it was like, yeah, your talent got you this far, but it's not going to get you all the way.
It's when you're at that level, it can't.
No. No.
If you can't do it at that level.
No, because I mean, if
do
you
that
could,
in college, you can't.
yeah.
In high school, you can't let talent carry you to a championship at that level. You just
you can't. If you could, then there would be no need for all these coaches making what they make.
Oh yeah, exactly. The coaches would be an accessory.
Yeah, they'd be like the cheerleaders.
Yeah, or why they be
Like,
motivation?
they're just
guys.
there
Hey,
just because.
they just be rah guys. Go out there and do it, guys.
Right. Yeah, like the cheerleaders, just like there's a reason why the NFL cheerleaders only make minimum wage or whatever, because they're not needed. But it's just something that it just
they're there for the crowd, distract you a little bit during timeouts.
Right.
Exactly.
It carried on from the Pop Warner leagues to high school to pro level, but reality is like nobody's gonna miss them if they're gone.
Sadly, but the only cheerleaders that anybody really even cares about in the NFL are the Dallas Cowboys.
And that's not even like it used to be.
No, I mean it's like the Laker girls. They were the hottest thing back then,
right?
And then they dropped off.
The
Cowgirls were the Laker girls of the '90s, and now like outside of Dallas fans, no one cares anymore.
Nobody cares.
And the Jets dancers, or who knows what they're even called. Like, no one
because they're not cheerleaders anymore, right? They don't like being called that.
They're dancers now. All right, so
moving on.
We've got Tennessee in here, who is also an interesting looking team. And then you've got the Colts, who I don't believe in because I don't believe in Andrew Luck.
His time has passed.
He's probably a great guy. I don't believe in Andrew Luck. I don't believe in his body. I don't believe his body can hold up. He just, I don't believe in him. I'm sorry, it's sad to say. I just don't. I think there are certain people who have a lot of talent, and unfortunately, they seem to be, snake bit. Something always goes awry with them. It's nothing that they've done. Sam Bowie. He reminds me of Sam Bowie. High draft pick, talented dude, always hurt, and that just hampers the career. People take chance on you because of the potential that they know is there, but it doesn't pan out. He's put up some numbers, but he's not putting up enough wins. And even when he's putting up numbers, and even in the playoffs, he can't win the big ones. Right. They play a game and they set this, I forget who they tracked up. They tracked up somebody, was it 45? Was it the Chiefs? I think it was the Chiefs. They tracked them up like 45-10 or something like that. Yeah. All the Colts fans like, all right, we're going to go. We're going to beat New England and we're going to storm the Super Bowl, and they got their butts kicked. Yeah. And then like he's talented, but there's always something that I just don't trust him, unfortunately. AFC North is to me is a wash of a division. Obviously, Cleveland is trash. They've won one game in the past 32. So they aren't even worth talking about. They obviously have some more talent. They somehow have some hope in their fans. I'm seeing on Facebook, hey, especially when they played our Lions. I can't believe the Browns are beating the Lions like this. I'm like, bro, it's a preseason game. It means nothing. No, it means something. No, it means nothing. Lest you forget, my Lions were 4-0 in the preseason and then went 0-16. Preseason means nothing.
Nobody remembers that except for us.
Except for us, because we are still
because we were holding on to those 4 wins for a whole 5 years after that.
I remember our fans were so ecstatic. We went 4-0 in the preseason. We beat New England in the preseason. I was just like the death toll right there. It's like, all right, great. This season's gonna suck. Cincinnati's not worth talking about. Unfortunately, I trust Andy Dalton just as much as I trust Andrew Luck. Pittsburgh's going to be interesting because of the Le'Veon Bell situation, Big Ben's advancing age, and the fact that Coach Tomlin really needs to make something happen or he's going to lose his job. Yeah. in my opinion. They may not because they keep coaches forever, but in my opinion, he's probably going to lose his job if they don't make some noise.
I don't know. I think they'll just blame it on Ben.
They don't blame it on Ben. They blame it on Tomlin.
Yeah,
They don't blame anything on Ben. Ben can't do anything wrong. I'm not going to go there. But in their eyes, Ben can't.
Well, yeah, we know that, right?
Yeah. Then we've got Baltimore, who's, of course, always intriguing, especially with their quarterback situation. Their quarterback situation is very interesting. What are they going to do with Lamar Jackson? What are they going to do with RG3? Do you throw Lamar into the slaughter? Do you turn Lamar into Cordell Stewart 2.0? Because seriously, he could do that.
Yeah.
And that makes you the most dangerous team offensively if you do that. It reminds me a bit of, and also with RG3, do you throw RG3 out there to kind of do what the Steelers did, having Hines Ward and Randall L out there, who were both former college quarterbacks, out there to throw these, what do they call them? I think he called them gadget plays.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're doing all these unique flea flickers and trickery with the ball and these big time plays. When you've got somebody as versatile as Lamar Jackson, to me, you've got to put him. You've got to use him, even if Flacco earns your starting QB position. You've got to use that. You've got to use that asset.
Yeah.
You've got to. You can't just have them sit there. You've got to make them pay for not people. Whoever passed them pay for not drafting, but you've got to make them pay and respect everything you've got offensively. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what they end up doing, because if Lamar ends up riding the bench and just sitting there, I think it's a waste of a year for him. I think it's a waste of his talent.
Yeah,
where you could really do something with him.
Yeah,
and I really hope RG3 could just become a solid backup, just have a career. I really would like him to have a career.
Yeah, he had a few bad breaks, and
he needed to slide. He wouldn't slide, and his coaching staff didn't protect him either.
Yeah. Which part of that was his own. Yeah, like you said,
part of that was on him, and part of that was on the coach.
But
they called the plays.
Yeah,
he didn't slide. He didn't protect his body. It's
yeah. In this level, you gotta especially as a quarterback, you gotta protect yourself.
Yes.
But then I guess at the era that he was in, it's like he's in there with all these Russian quarterbacks. You got he's trying to be the next Cam Newton, and it's like you're not built like Cam. Like he's built like a running back.
He's not even built like a running back. He's
not even a running back.
He's like a tight end. He's a 6'5".
Right. So
250?
Yeah. So I mean, he can take those hits. He can, But and I guess he was looking at
because Robert's skinny,
right?
And even though you had Russell, who is a mobile quarterback, but he's also stockier.
Yeah, and
then you also and Andrew Luck, even though he's not as fast as they are, he's pretty mobile.
Right,
was mobile at that time.
Yeah. And they were all
but he's also bigger.
They were all bigger.
Just a skinny dude.
And that's my point. It's like they were all bigger than him. But yes. I don't know. I guess that I will put on the coaching staff to be like, hey, listen, I know what you're trying to do. I see what you're trying to do, but you can't be these guys.
Right.
You got to play your position. You got to play your way, and
or at least protect your body.
Right. Or yeah.
If you're gonna run that pistol offense, you got to protect your body.
Yeah. So
this isn't college. They're not going to push you out of bounds. They're going to hurt you.
So yeah, I would like to see him just do something. He's another one. Yeah, just do something. I don't want to see him ride the bench because he's definitely talented.
Yeah.
But
and now, clearly we know he's not going to be the same. His knees just
right.
No.
Yeah, he's probably lost some speed. He's probably lost some mobility.
Well, we saw that in Cleveland. He's definitely lost his step.
Yeah.
But
So,
like to me, he's talented. He was talented enough in the pocket where he should be able to be a serviceable player.
yeah, I just don't know if he can stay in the pocket, like just mentally.
That's true. You know, the mental part is probably the biggest hurdle he has.
Yeah, yeah. Because you know, it's like if you look at it like that, it's like, man, why were you ever even rushing in the first place? You know, unless you absolutely had to. And which you know, they didn't have the best line either. But
it's what made him dangerous.
Right.
I mean, the legs made him dangerous.
Right.
Same with same with recent currently. I don't even know. Did they trade him? Cut him? Well, Bridgewater. Similar, you know.
Yeah.
He was dangerous because of his legs.
Yeah.
And you know, he's, you know, I guess you know the Jets clearly gave up on him.
Right.
Didn't think he had it.
Well, the Jets, they always got quarterback troubles.
Yes, they've had a slew of quarterback. You know,
I don't know. It's probably been about 10 years now.
Wait, when's the last time that Joe Namath was their quarterback? I think that's the last time they had a good quarterback.
Right.
Except for that Brett Favre year, but that was a debacle in itself.
Yeah.
Well, the AFC East, speaking of the Jets, we're talking about there's no point to discuss it. You know, unless Brady gets hurt, New England's winning this division. So, like, you know, Buffalo doesn't scare me. Miami, I don't have faith in Tannehill. I have less faith in him than I do in Andy Dalton or Andrew Luck.
Yeah, he hasn't shown me anything.
He hasn't shown me anything. The Jets are just a hot mess. They're probably going to have a better performance out of their male cheerleaders than they do out of their players on the field. I kid you not. I think those guys are going to perform better than the players. It's the AFC East is a wash. Like it shouldn't even. There's no point talking about it. Honestly, I have a tough time picking New England only because they've been there 2 years in a row, and 3 out of the past 4.
So you're taking
and Tom is a year older. Not that I think he'll drop off, but I don't know if they've got enough, and they haven't replenished a lot defensively for me to believe they're going to return to Super Bowl. They clearly win their division. They clearly are going to be top 2 seed in the AFC again, but I can smell an upset coming to them from the hands of either a Jacksonville or a Houston. I don't have enough faith in the Steelers or the Ravens, who are the only potentials to me to come out the North. And I think Jacksonville and Houston are the only real threats of knocking New England off. But the Patriots remind me a lot of the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
In that they're always there.
Consistency.
They're consistent. They're dangerous, but they have difficulty getting to the pinnacle every year. They'll get there, they'll win. They'll get there, they'll lose. They'll get close. They'll make the playoffs again. They're consistent, but they're not. Something sometimes happens. I think this is one of those years, especially after back-to-back Super Bowl appearances. Was it 3 in a row? I don't remember. It's so many. They went 3 in a row. They went back to back and then they lost.
Yeah.
So after that many trips, I don't see them making 4 in a row. I think that either Houston or Jacksonville does enough to get a win over them, and have a different team, a different quarterback for like the first time in like 20 years. Outside of, I think ESPN, they had a graphic. Either Roethlisberger, Brady, Manning were all in the Super Bowl except for the 1 year Flacco was there since like 2001. And those 3 dudes and Flacco in every Super Bowl for the AFC. So I think there's a fresh face finally going to appear in the Super Bowl this season for the AFC. So I'm saying big if but I think either Jackson or Houston finds their way. I would say maybe Jacksonville more than Houston, but I think it's one of those two teams. I don't have faith in Pittsburgh or enough faith in Baltimore for them to be able to do it. They're the only two teams in that conference I think have a remote chance of knocking off New England.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking New England probably do it again.
And by all respects, they should.
Yeah.
And in my saying Jacksonville or Houston is only because of the pattern that I've seen New England insist on.
It's always
because they had a stretch. Baltimore knocked them off, and a little stretch. Baltimore knocked them off again.
Like every year or two.
Yeah, they've had another stretch now. We're talking 3 Super Bowl appearances in a row.
Yeah.
They're due for another blip in the program.
Yeah.
So I would see and out of
I guess I don't know.
So
yeah. For me, I think, like I said, I think the Pats are gonna do it again. Eagles. I mean, I don't see anybody else really come
back out. You think the Eagles come back out of the NFC?
Honestly, I don't. But I really don't see anybody else that's like really stands out to me. So I'm like, well, I mean, returning champs, right?
No, are they returning champs or they flash the pan champs? Because the Broncos are flash the pan champs,
right?
You know, and pretty much every team but New England.
Yeah, that's how I feel about them. But I'm like, I don't see anybody else really lighting that fire.
Well, nobody excites me in this NFC.
Yeah,
like nobody.
Because I feel like even. They barely. I feel like they barely got that one. I feel like
they did barely get it, and they dodged a huge bullet not playing New Orleans.
Right,
a huge bullet.
Yeah.
I think New Orleans is probably the best team in the NFC, sans Philadelphia. And I think on paper there may be a better overall team than Philadelphia.
So, I mean, we're gonna get killed now by all the Philly fans, but
whatever. I think they're going to. Do well. I expect them to play with a lot more confidence and swagger than they ever have, and that's good for them.
You think so? I think they're going to get lazy.
No, actually, I don't think so. And because I do believe in Doug Peterson as a coach, I don't think Peterson will allow them to get lazy or get complacent. That is not his style. And they just won this game against the Falcons, who, again, like I said earlier, I don't believe in. I have no faith in them.
Right.
I think that they'll win their division. They will be back. I just think that New Orleans, I think they're overall a better team.
Yeah.
New Orleans, to me, the only real team I can see being a threat to whoever, which would likely be New England.
Yeah.
Coming out of the AFC. None of this crazy thing about the NFL this year, though, to me, is that outside of New England, New Orleans, and I'll put Philly in there because they're defending champs. All the other teams seem, except for the bottom ones, all the other teams seem extremely even.
Yeah.
The playing field seems to be very level right now outside of those upper tier teams.
That's what it seems like. And I think like one of my coworkers said this. He was like, it's easy to predict them, week one, but once injuries start coming in and different things start happening,
yep,
then you really start to see what teams are shaping up,
you see the testing of their mettle,
how
good these coaches really are, how do they adjust,
right? Get a couple wins, couple losses, and then it's like, all right, especially with, I mean, we were talking about NBA, but same thing with NFL, but especially with the NFL, because it's such a short season.
Oh my God, it's insanely short.
And there's really no recovery. You lose two games, you're
in a tough position. You've got to really scramble to try to make sure you're in contention.
Yeah,
you can't let yourself get beat up too bad.
No.
Well, speaking of getting beat up too bad, there was a young man, I think you heard, that was beaten up and decided not to retaliate because it's not
It's
the Jedi way.
Yep.
Now, the
I
two
heard
of
about
us,
that.
you are the Star Wars aficionado, as I am a Trekkie over a Star Wars fan. So I'm going to let you take the lead on this. This young man who decided to hold his ground but not fight back because it's not the Jedi way. How do you feel about this level of influence on an aspect of society coming from a, pretty much a sci-fi or fantasy influence?
Yeah. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it per se. I remember growing up, middle school, we had kids that, they thought they were The Rock or Stone Cold or Hulk Hogan or whoever, right?
What you gonna do, brother?
Right. And from that aspect, I'm like, this is a kid being a kid. I think he's 12 or 10, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And so I'm like, I remember at 12, I remember we had this kid that like he swore he was The Rock. Like you couldn't tell him anything else. Like he walked down the hallway with the walk and
Okay.
he used to wear the sweatbands,
the elbow pad,
elbow bands, and
wow.
I mean that was his thing, and some kids
Wow.
made fun of him for it, and some kids is like, oh, it's kind of cool, whatever.
That's a bit. I don't know. It's a bit much.
But we used to have our little Royal Rumbles after school.
Oh yeah, well that's fun. Yeah. Well, I can't talk because I used to actually do matches in my backyard, but
yeah, and
I had a little mini backyard wrestling federation going.
Right, exactly. So and I remember actually when this came up, a friend of mine was like, yeah, Dave, I had to show you this because he's like, I know, like both of us are real big Star Wars fans. He's like, I was looking at it and I was like, who can I show that understand what it means? And so, he showed it to me, and then he was like, and when he showed it to me, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah,
I was like, on one hand, like it's kind of cool, because it's like, yeah, like it's kind of cool because it's like I know the passion that I've had for Star Wars and for wrestling and not so much wrestling anymore, but when I was younger,
for fandoms,
just fandom in general, different animes and different things like that. Even still, as an adult, I'm like, yo, this is
hence why we do this.
Right. I mean, Marvel movies, like, come on, these cinematic universe,
right?
But yeah, so like I was like, that's kind of cool because it's like, yeah, like just sharing in that fandom, like I get it. But then at the same time, I'm like, man, like I don't, like this kid, he got like whatever. I mean, they showed the picture and
you see his face.
Yeah,
boy got stomped.
Yeah, and I don't know how many stitches he got, but
he got a bunch of stitches.
Yeah, he had to get at least 5.
Okay, but here's my thing. Okay, he said he didn't fight back because it's not the Jedi way.
Well, we know that's not true.
Because I couldn't remember where the Jedi way that he got that philosophy. Because Jedi stayed cutting cats up.
Right. So I think, and especially considering his age, I think he got it from the most recent, episode 9. Because episode 8. Sorry, episode 8.
But where in episode 8 were you gotten that?
When Luke was supposed to fight Kylo Ren, and he basically didn't. Actually, he never even. Well, we know why he never.
We know why.
Yeah, but
because he wasn't really there, and I'm not worried about spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie yet,
yeah,
shame on you. Yeah, I took forever to see the movie, and I've seen the movie. I didn't see the movie until it came on Netflix, and I've seen it. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's on Netflix.
So I mean, I don't know because, like, from all the interviews and stuff that I've seen, I mean, I've only read like 2 articles about it, but for the 2 articles that I read, it was just like his mom was like, "Where'd you get that from?" He's like, "I got it from Star Wars," but like he didn't really elaborate, or or either that or the media outlets chose not to elaborate.
There wasn't much elaboration from what I saw either. Just
But
pretty much that everyone thinks it's cute that this kid said that,
it's not
he
the
just
Jedi
fight
way.
back because it's not the Jedi way.
And it
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of I don't know if you did you see the kid that it was maybe last year, 2 years ago, he got stung by, I think we talked about it. He got stung by bees and he thought he was
Yes. He thought he was going Super Saiyan.
yeah, he was trying to go
Yes,
Super
yes,
Saiyan.
that kid, yes.
So yeah, it kind of just reminds me of that. Like it's like I think it's important for kids to have that fantasy and fandom and
Oh yeah.
but I think it's also important to separate fiction from reality. Like I always knew wrestling
like your
was
boy. Your boy, thought acted like he was The Rock.
right,
I am a huge Rock fan.
right,
I would often imitate The Rock in high school, but in no way, shape, form, or fashion. And also sometimes I dressed as like The Rock. I had some shirts that kind of were like his $500 shirts, and I even bought a Rock mask, and I would, do my Rock imitation and talk, to my classmates like I was a Rock. I even put my Rock mask on during Christmas time, put a Santa hat on top of it, and sat on the senior bench where all the seniors sat. And I said in my Rock voice, and girls would go by, and I would say, "You, what do you want, Christmas?" Raise the eyebrow. Come sit on Santa Rock's lap. She comes to my lap, and I look at her again. The Rock says, "What do you want for Christmas?" And then she would be like, "Oh, well, I would." "It doesn't matter what you want for Christmas." Santa Rock says, "You get your candy butt out of here." But I would never actually go so far as to be like, "Yeah, I'm The Rock," and I'm like, it just like completely like live it, for an entire day. Like I do it for 10 minutes.
right,
I do my imitation, have my fun,
yeah,
go back to being me.
yeah,
But in some people, like they do have their really, really deep dives into their fandoms. I agree with it. You got to draw the line between reality and fantasy, and there's a healthy medium there.
right,
That if you're getting your butt kicked and you clearly don't even understand the Jedi philosophy that you're not going to fight back,
right,
the parents need to say, "Okay, honey, we need to have a conversation about what's real, what's not real."
yeah. It's awesome that you love
conversation on what the Jedi way is, because
right,
you're not paying attention to these movies.
yeah. So I mean that's my take on it. I just think like man, like you got to draw the line because like at some point it becomes dangerous. Like like just like we talked about the kid that tried to go Super Saiyan. That was dangerous. God forbid he was allergic to bees or something. Yeah, yeah. And it's like I'm all for kids having an imagination. I mean, when I was a kid, I remember my mom threw out it was like the drying rack.
Mm-hmm.
You dry your clothes on, and they were like the little wooden, and we took them apart and made them into we thought we were Ninja Turtles, and we were like, I made nunchucks and all that, and it was cool, it was fun, but it was like, okay, but we know that Ninja Turtles aren't real.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And stuff like that. And we know we can't really go around hitting each other with these wooden sticks and, and potentially breaking bones. So there you go.
If you can't fight, learn how to wrestle.
There you go.
Because fighting is about knowledge.
Yeah.
It's not all about power and strength.
No. Yeah, definitely not.
So if you're a kid that likes the Jedi way, learn how to defend yourself. If you don't want to be the aggressor, learn a grappling art, like judo, like freestyle wrestling, so that you can at least defend yourself. Because we don't want to see no more 10, 12-year-old kids with their wig split with mad stitches in their face.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
Nah.
And we talked about the kids' parents. To the parents of the kids who beat this kid, come on,
right?
Y'all need to whoop your kids. Y'all need to do something.
Yeah.
what really upset me was there was nothing about those kids that beat this kid, about anything to do with these kids. Those kids, like, come on, those kids should be charged with something.
Yeah.
Like, that's not okay.
Especially, I think for me, it was like because he didn't fight back.
Yes, they pummeled that kid.
Like, it's one thing is like, all right, he fought back, and he got beat up, and
it's one thing if two kids are scrapping, they got a beef, they fight, they settle it. But that's not the case here.
But it's like, man, y'all just went off on him, and like he
just sat there and took it.
And then like, and I'm like, man, these kids are 10 and 12, and I mean, at the time, I'm just thinking like, it seems like 10 and 12 is so young, but I mean, like I said, we were doing a whole lot of stuff when I was 10 and 12 that, adults were saying I was advanced, so I wouldn't say that, but it's just like, come on, man, like, what are you guys thinking? And I guess looking at it, from our hindsight, being 30 and 32 and 35, and it's like, what do you got? There's so much more to life, but yeah, man, I don't know. I definitely would just, to the parents of those kids, like, they probably need a beating, number one. No, they definitely need a beating.
They need a beating. Oh, yeah.
Also, we need to be having a conversation. Why are you even picking on kids like that? To that extent. I mean, we know. You shouldn't be picking on kids, period. Couldn't be picking on kids, period. I'm not condoning that. Yeah, but I know it happens, so I can't say.
Right, we know it happens. Right. But there's no reason for that. And where were any adults? If this kid gets beat like that in school, where are the adults?
Yeah.
I'm sure if it was school. They didn't say if it was school, but I'm assuming it's school.
I mean, his mom said it was a school, so
that's right. So where are the adults? Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. All right. So speaking of change, because things have changed since we were kids, things are changing once again in the association that we know as the National Basketball Association. There was a memo, particularly around one change that I want to talk to you in regards to the shot clock. I'm going to take this out. This is Woj reported this. The Board of Governors are expecting to pass rule changes that include resetting the shot clock after an offensive rebound to 14 seconds from 24. They also are going to look at simplifying the clear path foul rule and expanding the definition of the hostile act to more easily trigger instant replay. Now, I don't understand. I want to specifically talk about this shot clock rule. Who, like, in the wrestling world, they say, who booked this crap? Like, come on. Really? We really need another stupid rule change to muddle and convolute the game already? You get an offensive rebound, you get your 24 seconds back.
All right.
Like, come on. What is hard about that? The game is not slow. We're not talking about 1940s basketball where they're not even dribbling and they're just passing the ball for 10 minutes before they get a shot off. Like, come on. The game is fast. I mean, like, what do you need to shorten it to 14 seconds for?
I don't even know, like, what prompted it. That's, like, I want to know.
Beats me.
Was everybody just sitting around the room was like, how do we make basketball more exciting? I got it. Like, you know what I mean? Or was there like somebody complain? Like, were there complaints? I mean, I don't know why, because I mean, for the last 60 years, this is the way basketball has been played. Probably longer than that.
Oh, no. I mean, the shot clock era has been since at least the 70s. So,
yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we're talking at least 50, 60 years.
Math, come on, man. 70s, bro. We're talking about 40 years.
40 years, okay.
40 some odd years.
Well, we almost in 2020, so I said 50. I was close. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I can't do math.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so
But yeah, so I mean, like for me, I just don't even know what prompted that. I mean, the first thing that came to mind was a more fast-paced game. They're just looking for one more way to shorten the game because everything in this era is about shortening. Like we want it fast, we want it quick. We don't want to watch an hour-long basketball game anymore. We already got enough TV timeouts. How else can we cut down the time of the length of the game?
Well, then what's that? They're gonna take a quarter out. They're gonna go 3 quarters down, like hockey, have 3 periods. Like,
I mean, I don't know, but I mean, you know, that's the biggest complaint for all sports, right? Is they're too long. They're too long.
No. Oh, okay. That's the complaint for baseball, which makes sense because it is too freaking long. And not that the game is too long. The game is long in baseball because you have pitchers who shake off 10 signs.
Yeah.
And then you've got batters who have to grab their nuts 10 times, flip their bat around, kick the dirt off their cleats every single time they step in the batter's box.
Yeah.
Those are things that take time.
Yeah.
Football takes time because of
TV
huddles.
times.
TV timeouts, but also the huddle. The huddle takes a long time.
Yeah.
You know, you got your huddle, and then you got your play clock winding down. So you're in your huddle for 30 seconds. And then you're on the line of scrimmage while your quarterback goes, ready! Ready! Blue 32! Omaha! Nebraska! Fried chicken! And they even say so funny stuff nowadays. Like, I forget. I forget what team has, like, everything is about food. That cracks me up. But you're yelling out, like, hot wings! Wings! 2 for 1 special! $5 box! Ready! Hike! Like that takes a long time. But basketball doesn't have none of those stops. It's a continuous flow game.
No, I agree.
Like,
But I mean, that was the first thing that came to my mind is like everybody's always complaining that sports take too long because we don't have enough time.
They don't take too long. We've got guys jacking threes from 30. Like, come on.
But the 2018 era, we don't have time for anything. We don't have time for sports. We don't have time for anything. Everything needs to be quick, fast, in a hurry. And so I think, like I said, I don't know what prompted this whole rules change thing, but personally, I think that's what it was. It was like, how can we speed up the game? Let's cut down the time on the shot clock from our offensive rebound.
It's the instant gratification culture that you think is pushing this.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I can see. Like, I haven't heard any complaints about it. I haven't seen anything. And like I said, so, you know, and like we said, the last 40 years have been this way. Nobody's complained about it. So why else would you just randomly decide to change a rule and then not even change it? Like, okay, for all rebounds, it's going to be 14-second reset because I don't know, X, Y, and Z.
Okay, so I'm looking
only for offensive rebounds.
I'm looking more at what Woj reported. So here's what Woj reported a little bit more. That looked at another article. The NBA believes that the resetting of the shot clock to 14 seconds after offensive rebounds will increase shot attempts, especially at the end of close games. The NBA studied the FIBA implementation of the rule in 2014, as well as the rule being used in G League, WNBA, and NBA Summer League games.
All the ones that, no disrespect.
The ones that nobody
cares about.
And very few people care about. The only people watching FIBA in the United States, the only people watching WNBA games in the United States are people like us who are basketball purists.
Yeah.
And we are a very small minority when it comes to watching. Like, I probably don't have 10 friends who swear up and down how much they love basketball who actually watched the WNBA playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, I did watch some of it because I love ball, but
yeah, it's like, come on.
And only some of those people that were watching only watch because of all these players talking about how they should get paid the way the men are getting paid.
Right.
And so they're like, okay, well, let me see why they should get paid.
Worth it. Yeah.
Is it really worth it?
Yeah.
You know, like, come on,
man.
Really?
I mean, it's just, I don't know, stupid rule changes just because we got to add some whatever into the game. I really don't care who you studied. I mean, this is the way the game's been played for as long as most of us remember. So,
Yeah,
like,
like,
why change it?
And part of my thing with this is they want to generate more shot attempts. Okay, it's only the game doesn't have enough shot attempts as it is. Like, I'm kind of tired of, actually not kind of, I am tired. I'm tired of people saying, the game, back in the day, back in more of our younger days, the late 80s, 80s, 90s, how, because it was slow and this and that, and there wasn't enough scoring, blah, 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 blah. Which is a load of crap. Okay. The Showtime Lakers scored a bunch of points. Teams scored. Like, there's a reason why Larry Bird and Kevin McHale both averaged over 20 a game on the same team. And you got Denny Ainge shipping his in, and DJ and Parrish. Like, these guys were getting buckets,
right,
and playing defense.
Yeah.
And people talk about how, the hype is all about the bad boy Pistons defense. They got buckets too. Like, they got the reason why the Pistons have the record for the most points scored in a game. They dropped 186 in a game. The Warriors ain't come close to that. Not even sniffed it. Like, come on. They played defense back then, and they got buckets. Like, it's not like it was a 24-hour shot clock that didn't reset to 14 seconds after an offensive rebound. Imagine that. And not only does the game not need an unnecessary change, but to me, you take away more from coaches. So many of these rule changes hamper coaching strategy.
Yeah.
Let the coaches be a part of the game. They always have been. Let the coaches do what they're supposed to do and coach. If they get the offensive rebound, then they got 24 seconds to play with, and then we see who can actually coach and who's a hero and who's a GOAT. Because, and I mean GOAT being what the older term, yes, I'm showing my age. Back in the day before LL Cool J said GOAT meant greatest of all time, the GOAT meant the loser. The GOAT meant somebody who sucks. Watch Charlie Brown. Yeah. You understand what the GOAT is. Charlie Brown was the GOAT because he was always the one that made bad play and the one that cost the game. Chris Webber, okay, that's your example. Chris Webber is what a GOAT was, the guy who cost the game. People make mistakes during that time.
Yeah.
Things happen. Let the game play out. Okay. Making someone jack up an unnecessary shot because you want to create more shot attempts.
I don't understand.
It's not going to make the game more exciting. What's more exciting is you get the offensive rebound. There's a 5-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock, and these guys have to wisely use their time either to get a good shot attempt off, score, whatever the situation happens to be. You actually have to see coaching. You actually get to see a mental process develop. What do I do? Do we run a motion on this? Do we get the ball into the post? Do we do a pick and roll? What do you do? Instead of, oh wait, I only got all this time, let me throw it out. Wait, no, jack up a shot. Like that's not good basketball. You take away strategy then. If you want to have helter-skelter, you can just go into the street for helter-skelter. For no coaching, for more instinctive and mindless baskesball instead of
those days are over. I mean,
yeah, I mean
that was M1 era.
Yeah, like come on, like you this is professional basketball for a reason. You should be the pinnacle of athleticism. It should be the pinnacle of coaching, and the pinnacle of strategy. And if you keep taking strategy away with rules, what's the point? You're not professional grade basketball anymore then.
Yeah, I think it's pointless and stupid. And I have a feeling that it may last the season if that, and they're going to change it again.
Well, I hope they kind of commit to it. They change, by changing it. But I hope it doesn't last beyond that because it's just, yeah, he said it's pointless, it's stupid, it's silly.
Checkmate.
Speaking of silly, We're going to tap into this a little bit. The internet's going silly over Eminem's Kamikaze.
I have yet to listen to it.
Well, I hadn't listened to it for a while because I really don't care. And I know it's shocking for those who know I'm a Detroit cat. I really don't care. I'm sorry, M hasn't dropped anything that I felt was worthwhile in about a decade. I don't care about pretty much most of any of the cats he was dissing. I mean, he dissed Joe Budden. I'm sorry, Joe Budden's a real MC. No, he's not as commercially successful as M is. Nobody is. And M, yes, and I will say it, you can call me racist, I don't care. Not you, but obviously you will listen, you can call me racist, I don't care. M has an unfair advantage when it comes to sales because he's white, and white people are going to more be inclined to buy his albums compared to other rappers. That's just how it is. Not saying that M isn't a good rapper, that he doesn't have flow, that he's a good MC. It's just what it is. So commercially, no, Budden isn't in the same stratosphere as M. Other parts of being an MC, that's a whole different ballgame. I had rarely heard of Machine Gun Kelly before this. Now, I didn't even listen to Kelly's response because I don't care enough to. But of course, everyone's abuzz about it. I did see that Eminem dissed Christian rapper NF, talking about NF biting his style and et cetera, et cetera. Well, when you want to trailblaze for white rappers, there are going to be emulations of you. Get over it.
And he's not even the first one.
Yeah, nor will he be the last. Like, come on, just get over it.
I mean, wasn't Eminem's whole purpose of signing Yellow Wolf because he wanted somebody that emulated his style?
Yeah.
So it's like you're kind of contradicting yourself. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I've become less and less, and I guess this is more just a personal thing, a faith thing, if anything else. Less and less involved in mainstream rap. I actually don't even listen to a whole lot of Christian rap anymore either. But for more lack of a better word, I guess I just don't care either. Yes. I've always been an Eminem fan. Like, I was an Eminem fan when it wasn't cool to be an Eminem fan. I remember my friends, like, when Slim Shady came out, and they were like, "Yo, why are you listening to this?" And I'm like, you guys don't hear the lyricism behind this? Like, I get it, it's a stupid song, but like, if you really listen to the lyric,
Oh yeah, like, well, I mean, I knew because of being from beforehand. So my thing was this: I never denied his talent, never will. To me, he was always like how I am about Robert Downey Jr. Talented, but his racist comments he made before he blew up, I didn't forget that. So I was never going to be Team M. And also, and I've been saying this for years, and now finally people have the balls to say it. He's not even the best from Detroit. To me, Royce is better than him and always has been. I've always said Royce to 5'9" is greater than M. Never backed off that. Yeah. No, he's not commercially successful. But as an MC, Royce to 5'9", greater than M, period.
Yeah.
But when Slim Shady LP came out, and I listened to it, and some cat said to me the same thing they said to you. Why are you listening to that? I said, look, yes, he says a lot of stuff for shock value, but you're not hearing what he's saying. You're not listening to the lyrics. You're not hearing the bars he's dropping.
Right.
And then when they finally started really listening, when Marshall Mathers LP dropped.
Of course, right.
But to me, the Slim Shady LP was a better work. It was better.
Marshall Mathers, I felt like
It was more commercial.
It was commercial, and I felt like that was the one that it was like, this is all for publicity and shock, and
Well, the first one was pure shock.
Yeah.
The Slim Shady LP was a shock album.
Well, yeah, because he was talking about different celebrities and stuff like that.
Well, that's when he was really going about, about hating about his wife and about his mom.
Right. Yeah.
So he was going on the big shock factor. And then, Marshall Mathers was really, that was I don't know who played it, whether it was him or whether it was Dre, or it was both of them. But most sophomore albums suck. They planned it out to have the sophomore album be the best album. That's the best album he's ever done. Best album he's done.
Yeah.
And to me, that was the last good one. I mean, the Eminem show was trash, in my opinion. Like Marshall Mathers LP, that was it. That was the crowning jewel.
Yeah, he never really did have another album like that.
No, I mean, once you drop your masterpiece, everything else pales in comparison. Like you can have other good albums, but once you drop that crowning jewel. Same thing with Jay. I'm sorry, nothing compares to Reasonable Doubt. Nothing. They don't come close.
No.
Nothing compares to Illmatic. Right. Nas has dropped some dope albums, but Illmatic is just way too far up to be touched.
I think It Was Written came close.
It Was Written was good, but it was written. I mean, every okay. Let me put it this way: the album's dope, but you don't skip tracks. True. The only album Nas had that you didn't skip tracks on at all was Illmatic.
Well, it was only 6 tracks.
No, it was like it was like 10 tracks. But it was like 10 tracks. Yeah.
I feel like it was less.
No, it wasn't less.
Maybe I'm thinking about Stillmatic was Stillmatic had more tracks, so I'm comparing it to Stillmatic, and I'm like, I felt like it was way less, but. That's
it was definitely less than Stillmatic.
Like 16 or something.
Crazy. Yeah, Stillmatic I think had 16 or 18 on it.
Which that actually was a good album too.
It was. I mean, they were good albums. Godson was a better album people give it credit for.
I thought Godson was trash.
It wasn't great. As I said, better than people give it credit for. I didn't think it was all that. It was nothing to write home about. Yeah. But it was written. It was also fantastic. But there were tracks you skipped.
I feel like
Reasonable Doubt, you skip nothing. Yeah. All Eyes on Me, you weren't skipping nothing.
No.
You weren't skipping nothing on Ready to Die. You weren't skipping nothing on Only Built for Cuban Links. There was sometimes they dropped that joint that is just straight fire, and then everything else, unfortunately, pales in comparison. So when you look at M, after Marshall Mathers LP,
there really wasn't anything left.
There was really nothing to write home about. I mean, I can't even name a track from the Eminem show. I can't name one.
Me either. I just remember the cover.
Yeah, I can remember the cover. It was red. With the curtain. And that's what I remember. Like, it really wasn't memorable,
Nah, I don't even really remember listening to it.
I think the most memorable thing he did after the Marshall Mathers LP was the way he ripped on Renegade on Blueprint.
Yeah.
Jay-Z's Blueprint. That was the most significant thing he did after that.
Yeah, I feel like this whole. I think it was just that. There was that void. There's a void in the hip hop community right now. You got mumble rap and everything else.
I was cool with him. He could take all those cats to task because what they do is.
And so I think. It's like if M or J or Nas. Or even like when Kanye dropped the recent one, it's just like everybody's was like, yes, finally, some real hip hop is back, But it's like, nah, it's just all right. I mean, in comparison to everything we've been getting, it's amazing.
It's better than anything else most cats are giving out. Right,
it's levels above anything that's going out right now. But is it real hip hop? No. Yeah, like this is not. I wouldn't even say it's even 2000s hip hop. Like not even, like I'm not even talking about classics 90s. Like let's just talk about like 2000s Stillmatic,
early 2000s, right?
And that was the era of like the collabos and the diplomats and the
Dipset and
I can't Rough Riders and
That was like
state property.
That was a gang wars.
Yeah.
Era. Because like it was funny. Like everybody was.
Everybody had a team up.
It was like pro wrestling. Everybody was in a faction.
Yeah, everybody had a team up. You had The Rock. You had Dipset. You had Rough Riders. Everybody
was so crewed up.
Yeah, if you was solo, you
had Trick Daddy and his. Everybody had a crew.
Yeah. So
Cash Money was
big. The whole West Side was still doing their thing. And it was just like, Death Row was
No Limit Soldiers,
right? G Unit.
Yeah, and I remember that double XL cover where they had when 50 just went and signed everybody. He went and signed Mace. He signed Mobb Deep. He signed MOP.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, and then he still had Young Buck. He still had Lloyd Banks. And I'm looking at that cover, and they G Unit jackets, which look really fly. Yeah. And then I see that friggin' Prodigy got the G Unit tattooed on him. I'm like, what? Right. It's like, yo, you just signed with them. You got the tat already? Really, Prodigy?
Right.
I'm looking at him like, yo, 50 trying to take over this rap game.
Yeah. Yeah, he did it for a while too. G Unit held it down for at least 4 or 5 years.
50 loaded his gun and then went and grabbed another gun and loaded that joint too. I'm like, okay, but everybody was all about crews then.
Yeah,
where when we were growing up, it was all about individuality, and the only crews. You had a couple crews. Old school crews, you had Grandmaster Flash Furious 5, and you had Wu, you had the Beastie Boys, you had but the crews weren't the main thing. It was about solo artists, and if they were solo artists, they were part of a crew, but the crew wasn't the focus. Even Wu, the crew wasn't the focus. Nah. They were they were
all solo artists
that just happened to be in a clique. Yeah, like. The beauty of Enter the 36 Chambers was that was a demo tape for everybody. Right. That's what it was like. All right, this is your feature. This is yours.
You get one track.
We're going to sell you this demo tape, and you're going to like it because we're a group, but we really ain't a group.
Right.
And I pick up to RZA, man. His plan, that 5-year plan he put forth was genius.
Yeah, they were like
great. Genius.
They were like the Marvel team up. They were like the Defenders.
Yes.
Hey, you're in New York too? Yeah, me too. All right, cool. Let's team up. Let's do something.
And that's your cousin? And
y'all all had coffee together?
Your cousin had coffee with my cousin. Yeah, and we get our girls the same place as that cousin. Cool. Yo, let's form a clan, son. Let's do this. And it worked.
Yeah. So
and it worked. Because they sold a demo tape and turned it into a classic.
Right. Yeah.
When everybody else was handing out their demo tape for free, we bought their demo tape.
Yeah.
For all those albums. We bought the demo tape for Tikal, the demo tape for Only Built for Cuban Links, for Liquid Swords, for Bobby Digital. That's what we bought in that album. As always, folks, thank you for listening to the Original Jeek podcast. We are obviously on iTunes. We are on Spotify too, y'all. Hope you like the new art because I think we both look dope on it.
Yeah.
And please continue to subscribe. We're thankful for all of our YouTube subscribers as well as on iTunes, Stitcher, and of course Spotify. Please like, share, comment. Always, if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. You get notified from when we drop new videos, which we are working on cranking out some new videos. Yeah. UniqDNA picked up, some gear for the streaming world, as we are also on Twitch at Jeek Nation.
Yeah.
YouTube, search us at Jeek Nation. Twitch at Jeek Nation, Facebook at Jeek Nation, Twitter at Jeek Nation. So until next
slacking
time,
on my Twitter.
That's right, on the Twitter, baby. Next time, peace out, y'all.
Yeah.